All right. Let's see. Okay. Got the coffee going. Let's see if anybody's coming in yet. Good day, good day. Okay. Oh, hello. No, actually, I was just for the song that was in the beginning, that was just some improvising, just having a lot of fun. It seems like got somebody in the room now. So, hello. My name's Ronnie Blanchet, and I'm a music teacher, singer, songwriter, and musician. Been playing harmonica for quite a bit ever since high school, and got real interested in the instrument and had a lot of fun with it. And still having fun today. It's one of the greatest gifts that God ever gave. Hello, Vazant. Hopefully I didn't screw that up. Hello, nice to see you, or not see you, but it's cool that you joined. Is cool. Does anybody have a harmonica with you today? Hello, Anna from Massachusetts. Hi. Oh, cool. Gabby, what do you have? What key do you have today? Oh, what key harmonica do you have, Gabby? Like this one was an A flat. I don't know if you could see that right there. A flat harmonica. And today, well, it's going to be more of an introduction, so there won't be so much playing. But to answer the question I was asked before, what song it was, that was just some improvising, just having some fun, and I wanted to give you guys a little taste of. Oh, cool! Thank you, Vasanth, of the harmonica today. And if you'd like, is you can check out some of the music that's on my music page, Ronnie Blanchet, and I'll get that. I'll get to you, Gabby, on that. And I could put a link in the description, or you could just look up Ronnie Blanchet on Bandcamp, and you can find some of my harmonica stuff there. Some other stuff that I do, some singing, some guitar playing, and have a lot of fun with that. But now we're gonna get started. So, how many of you do have a harmonica today with you? I know that we have one. We got a key of C, which is super cool. And actually, I would suggest starting. Hello, Jim Sunder. Hi. I'd like to submit to you that one of the best key harmonicas to start with. Awesome. Awesome. Oh, wow. 20 holes. That's pretty cool. Actually, that's a perfect place to start because I wanted to do a small kind of a introduction when it comes to, oh, awesome, Joy. An awesome kind of introduction to the instrument and just bring it down to the bare foundation. And talking about like, what is the harmonica? What is this crazy God-given instrument and why does it matter? So first, I want to start with the different types of harmonicas. Oh, well, that's an interesting harmonica. I don't think I've ever seen a 3-hole. I have a really small 4-hole harmonica that my little brother had given to me. It's about the size of a necklace, and it's a very cute thing. I like it, and actually use it as a gag if I would have a music lesson or something. Just like a little trick. Pull out our harmonicas, and then it's like this little thing. And just play it like that. But the harmonica itself, so that I don't get too distracted, is the diatonic harmonica is a 10-hole instrument. And when I say diatonic, that sounds like a big word. Diatonic is just meaning fixed. It's meaning that we have a fixed scale. And we have those notes there. Now we have the blow and draw functions, and that's going to be able to get us, kind of playing chords like that. And actually, this instrument was meant at the time where it was built in Germany to play German folk songs. So you'd be playing things kind of like and that's all it was intended for. And so when it finally came across to America, us Americans, and thinking, we can do it better, or we can do it backwards or forwards or what have you, we flipped it. And instead of playing everything on the blow notes, starting with the blow notes, is we started to play everything on the draw notes. like that. And especially when it came to the folk musicians of the day, or you could say modern day blues players, is they started to bend the notes. They started doing cool things like which I'm sure that you've heard that kind of stuff before. And if you haven't, I strongly suggest that you should check that out. Some great players would be Junior Wells, Sonny Boy, Williamson the second, Sonny Terry, all of these greats. Hello, Jim Sunder. Is all of these great harmonica players, they came down from that lineage of that German background, that German instrument. And then we took it and started to make our own of it. And as the years have gone by, the playing started to become more modern, more systematized. And so everything that we know about harmonica today is a really great gift. Yes, it is awesome, Anna. It is a great thing. And again, why it's such an amazing gift. I actually refer to the harmonica to some of my students as a small stone giant killer, because it is such a small thing and you can put it in your pocket and it's so much fun. I remember when I had first started, just to be brief, is I had so much fun just playing it as loud as I could, as deeply as I could, and having fun with it until someone came along and said, you're playing way too many notes. And that was like, okay, what does that mean? You're playing too many notes. That's not very helpful. And so I took that non-helpful advice and I went home and I tried to figure this instrument out as much as I could. And to the point where, as I started to get a hang on it, and I started to learn some good habits, bad habits, and eventually started to listen to other teachers and other harmonica players. And that's where I ended up getting to where I am today, to being able to play and to have a lot of fun. And, there's so much that you can learn from this little instrument. And that's what I want to provide today. So if anybody has any questions, I'm going to see if there's any questions so far. Let's see. Okay. Okay, sweet. If you do have any questions, though, definitely put them into the chat. Or if you have any questions specifically, and you want to take one-on-one lessons with me, I do have a link in the description so that you can pick up lessons and we can work things out depending on where you're at right now. But what I wanted to talk about, again, a brief history of the harmonica, how a German instrument came over here in the United States and we started flipping it around and having a lot of fun bending notes. And we started to systematize it eventually. But the biggest thing that I want you to understand now is, okay, I have this harmonica. If you do have a harmonica, if you don't have a harmonica, famous saying that I love it a lot is sell your shirt, sell your shoes, sell whatever you can so you can get one, because it's a lot of fun. But what happens when you go to the store, right? What happens to the store? You go to the store and you're like, oh, there's so many harmonicas, or there are not enough harmonicas. What kind of harmonica do I buy? Now, I'm not sponsored by any harmonica company, but I will tell you, with my experience of playing different harps, different tin sandwiches, all synonymous with harmonica, those names, is the harmonicas that I've enjoyed the most came a little bit later. I first started off with some Honers. Maybe some of you out there are familiar with the Honer harmonicas. But the Honer harmonicas are great and some of my favorite harmonicas to play. But what had happened is they started to produce kind of, let's see, yeah, I can imagine. So if you look for the key of it, it's probably quite a bit lower of a harmonica if you're talking about that low boat sound. But coming back to thinking about the harmonica, at least with like Hohner harmonicas, is they made this harmonica called the blues harp. And this was one of the coolest harps that came out. And I have this still today. This is like one of my oldest harmonicas that I have. And if you could tell, it's got this kind of construction here. Now this construction, this is a 10-hole diatonic. We're not talking about the chromatic harmonicas. Maybe if we have a second, we can talk a little bit about that. But with the 10-hole diatonic, you notice how we have cover plates, 1, 2, and we have this comb that comes across. Now, with this specific model, this is a tin sandwich. If you could imagine that this is a steel or aluminum piece of bread, and then you got the wooden sandwich in the middle right here. And this one in particular is great because of the nice wood sound. I love the tone that you can get out of it. And it sounds great. It feels great. One of the things in choosing a harmonica, though, however, is you might want to stay away from a wooden comb, only because if you play it a lot, the wood will swell up a lot with your spit and all that nastiness. But if you're willing to sacrifice that for the tone, I'd say go for it. But we'll get to another harmonica comb type in a bit. Now, there's another option when it comes to plastics. Now, this one is another Hohner type. This is a cool one. This is a Hohner Golden Melody. Notice the cool red comb right there. It's very sweet. I like to think about this one shaped as a moon pie, a little bit like that. Now with this, just to be brief, is it has a great feel with the plastic. But the one thing that you might notice right away is the sound. It's not as expressive. It's not that classic blues sound. I don't know if you could tell the sound as well as I'd like you to over this chat, but one thing I could tell you is it's not as expressive. Now, if yours is metal, Anna, that would be very similar to this one here. Now, this one right here is an aluminum comb. I prefer this. This is one of my favorite harmonicas. And this is done by Suzuki. Now, Suzuki is ultimately the brand that I had switched to when I started listening to players like Jason Ritchie, or listening to all different sorts of players that were playing something besides a Hohner. And I started to look, okay, there are these Suzukis, there are these Seidels, different brands, and what is the big deal? What makes them a little bit better? And we're going to get into that in a second. But this aluminum comb, I suggest to you, is one of my favorites because of its metallic sound and its weight. This is a decent, heavy kind of harmonica. And this specific type of harmonica is actually valved. So you can get bends, bend notes on the blow notes as well. That's not a normal thing you could do with diatonic harmonicas. Usually you just get on the draw. But so now let's move from the aluminum comb, the Suzuki, over to what I like to think of as a hybrid. Now, this is a Suzuki as well. This is a Suzuki Manji. And this is a birth child of wood and of plastic. Now, the specific material, I'm not exactly sure, but it feels great. It feels like a plastic, but you also have the feel of a wood, and you also get the sound of the wood. Now, this is a low-tuned harmonica, and these are really cool. If you're going to get a low-tuned harmonica, I suggest starting out with these Suzuki Manjis. You can pick them up on Amazon or probably on Suzuki's site for not that much. It's a great harmonica to have, and this is what it sounds like. really cool low sound. And the thing that's great about this is you could play it at any time of day, any time of night. You know, you're not going to bug anybody unless you're playing in their ear, which I don't necessarily suggest unless you're trying to get into some trouble. But now, do any of you all have questions so far? Different types of harmonicas, key of harmonicas, which we're about to get into next. Anything? Well, thank you very much, Anna. That's very encouraging. And if you do decide to take lessons, you could just look me up on Take Lessons or follow the link, and we can have one-on-one lessons. And that would be really cool to share, you know, the things I've learned so far with you. But now, if there are no questions, or if there are questions coming in a little bit late, it's okay. I will try to answer them as well as I can by the end of the session if I don't get to them. But now, talking about key harmonicas. Now, obviously, we have these 10 holes, and we might think, okay, well, most pianos have 88 keys. Like what's the deal with that? What can we do? Is instead of having, say, like one system of keys, is now we have multiple keys within the 10 hole system. Now, what I like to do is have as many harmonicas at hand, but that's not always an option. So what you can do is have a starting harmonica. And so listing the types of harmonicas here, I would say the most important to have are either C, G, B flat, D, A, and possibly F. Those 7 harmonicas, those are key in playing most of the songs that you want to figure out. I would suggest starting off with a C harmonica. Like, we had a couple of students here that had said that they had a C harmonica, or it could have just been one, and I saw the message a couple times, which is great. The harmonica I started off with, the key was an A harmonica, and it was a really cool gift from my grandmother, God rest her soul. And it's a great key to start playing with. When it comes to the beginning, most of the songs that you're going to play with that C harmonica, you're going to play them in what is called first position, right? If you're going to play something with your blow notes, you know, that's the kind of stuff that you would play if you were just starting with the blow notes. And you notice with that there isn't as much power. Most of the songs you're actually going to play, or the positions that you're going to play with these blues songs, or most harmonica music, is going to be called second position, which is blues harmonica position, and where instead of playing your first note on the one blow, is your first note is now going to be on the 2 draw. Now, if all of this doesn't make sense, that's okay. I'm going to explain it a little bit more as we get along. So now, as far as how the harmonica came to be, and or where it came from, and brief history, you know, how it works, different types of harmonicas, different combs, construction. And we're going to get to that, Anna, we're going to get to our handhold very soon. But now that we've got at least that kind of a foundation, let's start talking about what are the things to be focusing on as a student of the harmonica, which we all are. I'm teaching you, but I'm a student very much as well, and constantly learning. And that's why this is another great instrument, because you are a student of music when it comes to it. Now, when it comes to playing the harmonica, is we want to get, if we don't want to run into a bunch of trouble, is we want to get familiar with these 5 principles. And that's what I teach all of my students going into the harmonica. So if anybody has any questions, please ask. And again, I'll try to answer them as best as I can on this site. But if you'd like to have a one-on-one, I have a link in the description, or you can look me up on Takelessons and just look up Ronnie Blanchet, and I'll be right there. But these 5 disciplines that I want to go over, so that you don't have to run into a bunch of trouble like I did, is sitting position. 1 is handhold, which we're going to go over, Anna. And then 3, embouchure. 4 is going to be breath control. Then 5 is going to be punctuation. Now, okay, we have sitting position, how I'm sitting in my chair, right? Or how I'm positioned with my body. Then we have our handhold, how I'm holding the harmonica. Embouchure, ah, ah. Is my breathing? Am I breathing through my nose? Or am I taking these big breaths? We don't want to do that. And then we have our punctuation. Now I'm going to break that down, each of those steps, because they're super, super important. And if anybody has a harmonica, you can play along with me, or to do the exercise along with me. If not, you can always grab like a small stapler or anything that's shaped like a harmonica, something small. And get my harmonica here. This is going to be a C harmonica. And I want to go over these steps. Now, these steps, I had found these, especially in teaching, because harmonica, it was not an easy instrument to teach, and that's not how I had learned. How I had learned to play harmonica was, you get good or you put it down. And, not many people, around to help me out. And so that's why I'm very grateful to God that, now you don't have to go through that as you can go through me. And there's so many more teachers that are available these days, especially with the advent of internet, social media, and all of that. So this is a really great blessing that all of us should be very thankful for. But as far as these steps, they're from John Jindick, and he talks about these steps. I like to go a little bit more in depth with them, or in a different direction, I should say. You can pick up one of his books, Natural Country Western and Blues Harmonica. It's a great book, very easy to read if you can still get it today. I know that he has a re-updated version, which is also very cool. It comes with a CD. So if you'd like, I'll repeat it again. John Jindick, spelled Jon, then Jindick, spelled Gindick. And then you can look up, music books. You're gonna find like a cute little cartoon, wrapped up in music staff, and I believe the title is escaping me now, but if I remember it, I'll let you know. As far as these steps go, that's where I derived these from, and I want to share them with you because they've been helpful to me, and they've been helpful to my students in understanding how to think through the harmonica. It's one thing to be able to regurgitate what I'm giving you, but it's another thing to take some things and to be able to think yourself with through the harmonica, and to be able to do it on your own, because I'm not always going to be there, or other people won't be there for you. So as far as these steps go, sitting position. Why does this matter? Is the sitting position that you're in, it's actually going to determine the rest of your playing. Now, if I sat like this, is I can play, but one of the things that is keeping me from doing and not keeping that relaxed position is it's more difficult to breathe. If you'd like to, you can, if you're sitting down or if you're standing, take a seat for a sec. And just notice what happens when you hold it like this. When you hold yourself up like this and try to, take a breath, is your breath is limited. As opposed to if you had a slight curve in your back and how you were sitting was a little bit more on the corner of your chair, and you have that little curve in your back, and you take a breath, is you're able to take more air. And now your shoulders are relaxed, so you have a little bit more control as opposed to going like this. We don't want that. That's no good at all. And so what we want is we want to be able to have that relaxed position, a relaxed position where, yes, we're a little bit curved, and we're also relaxed with our shoulders so that we can control the air going down as opposed to going up to our neck and getting all that neck tension. We don't need that. We don't, and we want to avoid that very much. So let's move on to step 2, discipline 2. And again, if you guys have any questions, girls have any question, please leave a comment in the chat and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. And instead of typing it, okay, let me see this. Okay, very good question. And I apologize if I butcher this. And ananas, I believe. First act harmonica, I haven't messed around with one of those, but I can tell you with any instrument that you have now, it would be, at least you have something. That's a great thing. Now, if you are in the place where you can order a harmonica, I would suggest getting something from like the $30 to $40 range, something that's really nice. I'd suggest a Suzuki, if you can, a Suzuki ProMaster or a Suzuki Manji, depending on what you're after. I do love the aluminum. I love the aluminum combs. I love that. That might not be something that you like. If it is, then I would go with the Suzuki ProMaster. If you're going for, more of that wood tone, you might want a Suzuki Manji. There are also, there are quite a few varieties of harmonicas. So even if you just go to Suzuki's website, as you could check out a lot. There are so many things, and there might be something that catches your eye. You're like, ooh, that harmonica's green. And so you might go with that. But as long as it's within that price range, you're going to get a product that you're going to enjoy, and it's going to last long. We didn't talk too much about the reeds of the harmonicas and, where these little boxes go, like these holes. It's like, okay, where's the sound coming from? That's where they're going to be playing, is these reeds that are very much like your vocal cords here. And so sounds kind of gross, but bear with me, is the harmonica is like having your voice box on the outside of your mouth. Is why do I say that? Is because we're breathing, and when we apply pressure to the vocal cords, is we're actually causing sound. And that's what you're doing when you're playing the harmonica. If I just take a breath, is you're doing that with the reeds instead of having vocal cords. So that's one little thing I should have added. I'm very grateful that you asked that question. So where was I? Talking about the positions or the disciplines. So first discipline, sitting position. You want to be in a nice, relaxed position. You want to be in a position where you have a slight little arch. And you don't want this. You don't want all of the focus to be in your neck and kind of this upright back. Is you actually want a lot of your focus to be in your diaphragmatic cavity, in this area around your abs and your stomach. Is that's where the center of your playing is, and we want to keep it there. So let's move on to step 2, or discipline 2, handhold. Now, handhold, in this case, there are quite a few handholds, and I'm going to be very brief with this. Our first handhold, if we think about like the textbook handhold, is going to be like a C position. And if you guys have harmonicas, you can pull them out like that. And you're just going to place them here. And you're going to like to fan out your fingers like this. Like that. Yeah. And with the other hand, you're just going to cup it over. Now, the thing is again, this is a very brief lesson. All of these things, if you want to get more in depth with them, we can go one-to-one over Skype or what have you. If you're close to the area, then you can contact me through Takelessons, and we can do that from there. But again, this is just a brief overview. So this would be the textbook position in your left hand, making a C shape, and then getting a cup. Kind of like if you were holding water, if somebody was pouring water and they asked you to hold it together, that's kind of the shape that you want to get. And so that you wouldn't let any water out. And it's the same thing with our air. So that's one way. Now, the other way is a right-handed position. There's some famous players, notable players that play with their right hand, and they also flip the harmonica upside down. Sonny Terry, I know that he does that. That's not something that I do. It's really cool though. If you'd like to, definitely experiment, see which hands feel better. That the right hand is, however, what I had done for most of my harmonica playing until a little bit later when I started to find this handhold. Now, this is my favorite handhold to get into. So if anybody's watching me at this point, with the harmonica, let's hold it our first ring like this, just like that. And what we're gonna do is, remember, I'm your mirror, so we're gonna fold our middle finger right behind the harmonica, and then take our thumb and place it on the front of the harmonica, like this. Fold our finger down, close that hand up. So you see, the knuckle here is holding back like a support, just like that. And then I'm gonna move this finger to the thumb, just like that. And now I have almost like a typewriting motion when I play. And I love this one. I favor this handhold. I picked it up from another teacher. I believe it was Adam Gusso. You should check out his stuff on YouTube. He has like a whole website. It was modernbluesharmonica.com. There's some great resources they could find from him. But when I had stumbled upon this handhold, I started to change it around, and you can do the same thing. The most important thing to grasp when it comes to the handhold is you want to make sure that the sides of the harmonica are covered. So, and what I mean by that is the push and pull of the harmonica, your grasp of it. So when I put my thumb on the left side of the harmonica, and I put my first finger here, my pointer finger, on the other side of the harmonica, is now I have control of these areas. And then when I put my knuckle back here, is I have control of that area in the back. And then when I put my hand over here, is I have the control of the back there as well. Now when I put my mouth forward, is I also have that direction covered. So when I play, is now I don't feel like, oh, one side is a little off. And oh, let's see, Anna. Oh, don't worry about that, Anna. Is if your hands are a little too small, it doesn't have to be like perfect. Everything is a little bit different. Everyone is different when it comes to their hand position. What I'd suggest is even at your age is thank God it is a small instrument, so you don't have to have them as it might seem like my hands are huge because I'm so close to the camera, but really is you don't have to have such big hands to play harmonica. That's for sure. Even if you wanted to, you could play like that. But as far as any help that you would like, is maybe if you schedule a one-on-one, as we can talk a little bit more in depth about handhold. But just so that you know, is no matter what, is you're capable of playing the harmonica, even if you get a smaller harmonica. I would suggest, if you are to get a smaller harmonica, to go with something like a Suzuki ProMaster. Is they're a little bit easier to hold, kind of like this one, um, and to be able to hold it and play it as well as possible. You don't have to do it exactly like me. It's going to be a little bit different from hand to hand because we're all uniquely made by God. And so don't feel bad about that. It's totally cool. If you do have any more questions or anything specifically that you're struggling with, do feel free to put that in the comment section now or in the chat. So thinking about our handholds, thinking left hand, right, is, and then thinking both hands, is whatever we do, we just want to make sure that we've got a good grasp of our harmonica. We're not squeezing it so hard to break it, but we're also not very loose so we would drop it. We don't want to do that. So let's recap. We went through step 1, which was sitting position. We want to be nice and relaxed with our shoulders. We don't want to be like this. We want to be nice and loose. There's an old adage that I had a drummer friend, and he said that you can tell a drummer by how he sits on his throne, on his drum seat. If he's playing like this, he's not so good. The more relaxed he is, the better he is. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to, lay on the ground, be asleep to be super good, but we want to get as relaxed as possible, and be able to control the air coming down. So now that we've gone over that, then we went over handhold, left hand, right hand, kind of a hybrid mix, just like that. Good cup. And then, the different ways of holding the harmonica. You'll see me like switching between either left hand hold or holding like this. Whatever feels comfortable for you right now. But there are quite a few resources that you can find online. So if I didn't spend enough time on it, definitely check out stuff online. There's quite a bit of information, which can be very helpful. So now, after going through handhold, let's talk about embouchure. Now, what is the embouchure? The embouchure is going to be your mouth. Ah. And what we want, just to cut through a lot of the information that we could go over, is a yawn position. Can you yawn? Oh, oh. This yawn is what we want for the harmonica. Now, when I go to play, I want a nice drop down, relaxed yawn, because that is what's going to keep my lips and everything else from getting tight and playing that way. Now, when you go to play, is you want that yawn position so you can get a really good tone. Is when you get a little bit better, you can start closing it down a little bit, the mouth position. But I want you to see the difference here. is the more open that you can get, is the more tone or the thicker the tone you're going to get. And again, that's not always what you're going to want. Sometimes you'll want, if you're playing faster, if you're playing faster, you might want it to be a little bit more smaller. But in most cases, especially at the beginning, is you want to practice getting a super big tone, just so you can start learning control of your embouchure. So we want to keep real relaxed. We want to have it nice and big. And if you have a harmonica on you, this is a great exercise that I do with my students so that we can be able to play from a chorded position to just a single note position, going like this. Now, what am I doing? Is I'm putting my mouth over holes 1, 2, 3, and 4, mostly on 1, 2, 3, and I'm trying to make a fishy face. So going from wide, like that, to more of a ooh, like this. And only doing the pushing of the harmonica out with my lips. We want to play the harmonica with the inside of our lips. And again, there's so much more to this, and we can really get down to like the finer disciplines and I guess coordinations, and get very particular to your case, because everybody's different when it comes to this and what you might be experiencing. So if you would like to go through one-on-one lessons, as you can find me, Ronnie Blanchet, on takelessons.com. And I would love to meet anybody that was interested. And thank you all for being here as well. And I will, I think Maria had already put the link in the description. But yes, is I can help you one-on-one a lot more in depth. This is just a cursory glance of all the things that we'd be needing to go over. So as far as the steps, the disciplines, speeding through these a little bit, is sitting position, handhold, embouchure, nice and relaxed, yawn, going to a ooh, oh, to start getting your single notes, because that's going to become very important when you start getting into your playing one to do songs. Then from this point is we're going to get into breath control. Now, I have sins in the area of talking about things a little bit too long, if you haven't noticed, but I'm going to try to make this really short. Is when we think about our breath, is when we're playing harmonica, is the instrument is powered by breathing in and out, where it's different with the singer. Is with singers, you breathe in that and you exhale. You don't get any notes when you're breathing in, but with the harmonica we do. Right? And so we want to think less is more, especially at the beginning, is you don't want to take too much air in. And any air that you do take, is you want to make sure that you're holding that air or directing it down. You're directing it down to your back. If I took a breath, is I want my back to expand. Just like that. As opposed to trying to breathe like this. Is we don't want those shoulders to raise. And obviously I'm exaggerating, but is you might notice when you're taking a breath in, is you start doing this. We don't want to do that. What we want to do is on a draw, there might be a little bit of expansion here in your chest, but we're not allowing those shoulders to climb. We're not doing that. We want to make sure that everything is down here. Those breaths. And we want to start breathing more efficiently as well. And again, I'm being very brief with this. The last step would be our punctuation. And after this, I want to get to questions and then answering all these questions. Now, punctuation, when you speak, is if you do not enunciate properly, whatever language or dialect that you're speaking, is you are not understood. It's very difficult to understand what you're saying. And so the same thing is very true with a harmonica. Now, when it comes to the different types of punctuation, we have what is called a forward punctuation, t t t t t t t, or d d d d d d d, and we also have a back articulation. We have a g g g g g and a k k k k k. Now, you're either controlling the breath stream of your harmonica when you're blowing. You're either enunciating with a or a or a or a, and that's how you're going to get multiple notes. So when I'm going da 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 da. Or doing it on a drop, blowing or drawing. Now, all of these things, these 5 disciplines, why do they matter? Is I think that if you focus on these 5 disciplines, is they're going to help you in the right direction of your harmonica playing. Is yes, songs are super fun, and we usually want to just go straight to them, but I submit to you that it's more beneficial to you to work on form and to work on your technique now. And then, you know, after you work on that a little bit, say like you got like 5, 10, 15 minutes, and just work on these 5 steps, then start to approach some songs, you know, listen to a song and you're like, oh, I really like that. Figure out what harmonic it is. Usually if you go online, you can say, okay, this is the song. What harmonica are they playing? What key harmonica? And you can even find harmonica tabs, so that you can, you know, find the notes to play and all of that. And there are many great YouTube videos online, and always there's one-on-one lessons with me. If you enjoyed the session today, is I would love thank you so much, Anna. I would love to go one-on-one with you, and hopefully you've had a blast. I know that it's a lot of information, especially at the orientation. And I wish I could have gotten to more. But what I would like to do is at least answer some questions before I go. So let me check these real quick. So when it comes to, I did answer the what song it was in the beginning. That was just a little groove that I was playing. Now, is B a good brand? I don't know who answered or asked that question. B, I'm not familiar with B as a brand. I'm not familiar with it. But what I can tell you is if you do buy a harmonica and it happens to be, yes, I can, Vicente, is I can play a quick little tune before I go. But back to what I was saying is any harmonica that you get, you want to make sure that it's within like the $30 to $40 range, at least for the beginning. You can go higher from that. Sometimes you can go lower and you can get Chinese made harps. Sometimes they're all right. Like these were my favorite, you know, for a while. These are the Bluebirds by Kongshin. I don't know if Kongshin still makes them. But I would say stick to like Hohner, more so Suzuki. I would go Suzuki, and Seidel, which I didn't show the Seidel harmonicas, but they're really cool. I think Suzuki is like a great bass range harmonica to get, and try not to get something too expensive. But whatever you can do. Here's the Seidel. These are really cool. This is a low tune. But let's see. Does anybody else have a question? And there was a question for, is it wrong, not good if you get a headache? Is it regular? I'm not sure when you're talking about getting a headache from playing. If you're talking in general, you can always take some ibuprofen. But when it comes to if you're playing the harmonica and you frequently get headaches, maybe you want to go check something out with your doctor. It could just be that if you're just getting into it, maybe it's just a new practice, and so you're not quite used to it. It could be you have a higher harmonica. And you might want something a little bit lower. You might want some low-tuned harmonicas or something, kind of like mid-range. But yes, if the headache is caused by the harmonica, you might want to find a different harmonica. It could be that you just had a headache and then you started playing. But again, I'd have to be one-on-one with you to figure out all the parameters there. But let's see, we have any more questions. I did hear that, or I did see that somebody wanted a song. Yes, and I'll do this real quick, Anna. Is there's a really cool song that I like. It does have a little bend in there, but one little part that you can play is for When the Saints Go Marching In, would be playing 3 blow and then 3 draw, then 4 blow, and playing with those notes on their own is you can start coming up with your own melodies and your own patterns. And having fun with it. But any more questions? Anything? And of course, if you want to play some tunes and follow along with me, I would strongly suggest that we go one-on-one so that we can have that time to be able to be face-to-face and to work through wherever you're at. And so I think I have the link here. Let me give it out to you all. Oh, and that'll be it. So thank you very much, and you all have a blessed day. God bless you. Oh wait, what did you say? Let me get that. Oh, you're welcome, Ananas. And I'm so sorry for mispronouncing your name, but thank you so much. And you too, Anna. Is hopefully I can hear from you all again. Is thank you again. My name is Ronnie Blanchet, and if you're interested for signing on with me for Take Lessons, that would be super awesome. And Yes, you're welcome, Gabby. Thank you all for joining. It was super fun to have you. And hopefully get to see some of you one-to-one for lessons. Until then, I hope you guys have a great day and staying safe during this time. And I pray that God blesses you and your families. And keep harping. If you don't have one, again, sell your shirt, sell your shoes. Is get yourself a harmonica. They're so much fun, and they're such a great gift to behold. God bless you all. Goodbye.